I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief, where we take a look at those top stories making headlines every Monday to Thursday. And just a reminder that the Israel Brief is brought to you by these guys, and I'll give you some details where you can find us online. But right now we go to our top story, and IDF troops have clashed with Palestinians as they carried out further raids and arrested those suspected of being involved in terror incidents or the planning of terror incidents in the town of Jenin. Jenin remains sealed off. Now, overnight, at least 20 Palestinians were arrested, and earlier today, a terrorist from Hebron was killed as he ran towards a police officer with a knife and tried to stab him. The police officer saw the suspicious behavior and neutralized the terrorist. A Palestinian Authorities customs officer has admitted that he was planning to carry out a terror attack in the town of Vered Yericho in the Jordan Valley. He apparently tried to gain entry into the settlement, and when he was unable to do so, fired his weapon into the air. He was subsequently arrested by Palestinian Authority security, and in the interrogation process, he admitted that he had tried to carry out an attack. Meanwhile, last night, Prime Minister Naftali Bennett and Public Security Minister Omer Bar-Lev went back to Dizengoff Street to the bar Ilka, where last week's horrific terror attack, which claimed the lives of 3 Israelis and injured several others, happened. The bar by the name of Ilka in the heart of Dizengoff Street reopened after last week's horrendous attack. Now, over the week, Israelis have been paying tribute to those slain, laying candles, putting up flags, writing messages in a very, very moving image of resilience and support. The Prime Minister said that we won't let the enemies of peace, terrorists, disrupt the way we run our lives. Meanwhile, earlier today, Defense Minister Benny Gantz said that his ministry is working to allow thousands of Palestinians to enter the country legally for work purposes. He reiterated that this is taking place while there is still a very intense security operation going on. In other words, we now move to one of our favorite topics, and that is Amnesty International. Now, a very, very interesting thing has happened in the United States. 2 Republican senators, Rick Scott and Mike Braun, have drafted a bill where they say that they will prohibit Amnesty International, that was almost a Freudian slip right there, from receiving federal benefits and funds that could be given to the organization and its staff. Now, in their bill, they say that Amnesty International has fostered and disseminated anti-Semitic reports attacking Israel, its legitimacy, and reiterated the fact that the state of Israel is America's greatest ally. They went on to call the organization a sham human rights organization. Now, this comes after the Democratic members of Congress sent a letter to Amnesty International USA's Executive Director, Paul O'Brien, excoriating him for his comments that he made at a recent lunch, where he said that he didn't believe that the state of Israel should exist as a Jewish state, and that, in his opinion, all that American Jews want is a safe space for Jews. They called his comments reprehensible and anti-Semitic. They also took aim at the Amnesty International report, calling that anti-Semitic and also contributing to a rising climate of anti-Semitism. The US's ambassador to Israel, Thomas Knights, also used the language of anti-Semitism and referred to the report as absurd. Meanwhile, while this is all going on in the United States, in the United Kingdom, Amnesty International's UK office is under independent inquiry into allegations of institutionalized racism, following further allegations of fostering a toxic work culture and allegations of racism. Now, that is quite ironic that an organization that seems to be so focused on accusing Israel of practicing apartheid is under serious investigation, and recommendations have already been made that they do something to clean up their internal culture. The investigation will now enter its fourth phase. But now on to something a little bit more positive, and Israel's Minister of Regional Cooperation, Essawi Frej, is in Kosovo. He is the first cabinet member to visit the mainly Muslim country that also recognized the state of Israel in 2020. Now, this is separate to the Abraham Accords. This is a different part of the world, and we are thrilled that this Muslim majority country has also normalized ties with Israel. Well, he is in the country to meet with the Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister, and says he is proud to be the first Israeli to do so, and that he looks forward to growing ties in culture, economy, trade, tourism, security, and cooperation. And for those of you making accusations against Israel, calling us an apartheid state, this is a reminder that Essawi Frej is an Arab-Israeli lawmaker, and he's not just a member of Knesset, he is our Minister of Regional Cooperation. I wonder if Amnesty International caught that last note. And our final story is very, very positive. We say a hearty mazal tov. Congratulations to a group of 13-year-old boys from Ukraine. These are orphans from Ukraine who have been able to come to Israel with the aid of the organization Kotel, who are helping them to have a bar mitzvah. This is being organized for them at the Kotel, at the Wailing Wall, and it's very, very special. The boys have said that they love their time here in Israel, but their dream is to return home to Ukraine. And I guess it's kind of bittersweet. While we would love for them to stay here, we also understand that they want to build vibrant Jewish life back in Ukraine. And that brings us to the end of today's broadcast. Don't forget to check out our website at www.layoftheland.online. We're on Facebook. We are growing. Come and be a part of us by liking us, following us, sharing our content. And we are on YouTube. Our channel is The Israel Brief. Please hit that red subscribe button. Let's get our story out to as many people as possible. So many of you have said to me, why isn't the mainstream media talking about the terror attacks in Israel? Well, we are here at The Israel Brief, and you can help us by sharing this content. And of course, we're on Twitter at Lay of the Land 5. You can interact with us there as well if you would like to. So a reminder that this is The Israel Brief. I'm Rolene Marks. Thank you for watching, and join me again tomorrow for your top stories.